My beloved child, stop for a moment. Do not scroll past this. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. I am the one who formed your heart, and I am the one who says to you now, open my message right now. There is a reason your eyes are reading these words at this exact second. This is not chance. This is not coincidence. This is me reaching for you in the middle of your ordinary day. You have been carrying questions you have not spoken out loud. You have been holding emotions you cannot fully explain. There is a quiet weight in your chest, a silent wondering in your mind. You smile for others, you continue with your responsibilities, but inside you have been asking, where are you? Do you see me? Do you know what I'm going through? My beloved child, I see it all, and I could not wait any longer to speak into your moment. There was almost a second when you nearly ignored this. Almost a breath when you thought, maybe later. But I stirred something inside you. A small pull. A gentle nudge. That was not your imagination. That was my spirit whispering, this is for you. I know the fatigue you feel. I know the frustration that has tried to harden your heart. I know the disappointment that has lingered longer than you expected. You have tried to stay strong. You have tried to stay hopeful. But there are nights when you lie awake, staring into the dark, wondering how everything will unfold. You do not have to pretend with me. I already know. When I say, open my message right now, it is not to command you in fear. It is to rescue you from despair. It is to interrupt the lies that have been growing in your thoughts. It is to step into the middle of your uncertainty and remind you that you are not alone. This moment is sacred. This is an appointed time. Before you were born, I knew there would be a day when you would need these exact words. You may feel unprepared. You may feel undeserving. You may even feel distant from me. But distance is an illusion when it comes to my love. I have been closer than your next breath. I have been watching over you in ways you cannot see. Even in your silence, I have been speaking over you. My beloved child, lean in now. Quiet the noise around you. Let your heart soften. I am not here to accuse you. I am here to restore you. I am not here to expose your weakness. I am here to cover you with strength. What I am about to tell you will shift something inside you. It will steady your heart. It will remind you of who you are and whose you are. You opened this message because I called you. And when I call, it is always out of love. My beloved child, now that you have opened my message, let me speak gently into the place you try so hard to protect. I see what you are carrying. I see the weight that sits on your shoulders when no one else is looking. I see the responsibilities that press against your mind from the moment you wake up. I see the silent battles you fight before you even step out into your day. You have been strong for so long. Strong for your family. Strong for your friends. Strong in situations where you felt you had no choice but to hold yourself together. But strength, when carried alone, becomes heavy. And lately, you have felt that heaviness more than ever. There are moments when you want to say, I am tired. Yet you swallow those words because you believe others depend on you. My beloved child, I do not ask you to pretend with me. You do not have to impress me with your endurance. I already know how fragile you feel at times. I see the tears you blink back. I hear the sighs you release when you think no one notices. Even your silence speaks loudly to me. You have been carrying questions about your future. You have been wondering if the path you are on will truly lead to peace. You think about decisions you made in the past and wonder if they close doors that will never open again. Regret has tried to whisper to you at night. Fear has tried to paint pictures of failure before anything has even happened. But those whispers are not my voice. I see the pressure you put on yourself. You measure your progress against others. You compare your journey to someone else's highlight. And when you do, discouragement creeps in like a shadow at sunset. You ask yourself why you are not further ahead. You question your pace. You question your worth. My beloved child, your value has never been tied to your speed. You have also been carrying pain that is older than you admit. Words spoken over you long ago still echo in your memory. The rejection you experienced still lingers beneath your confidence. A betrayal still stings when you least expect it. You tell yourself you are over it, but certain moments still reopen that wound. I see it all. I saw it when it happened, and I stayed beside you then just as I am beside you now. There are responsibilities you did not ask for. There are burdens you inherited. There are expectations placed on you that feel unfair. And sometimes you wonder why life feels heavier for you than for others. You do not complain out loud, but your heart has asked, "Why me?" My beloved child, I am not offended by your questions. I welcome them. They show me you are still reaching. Let me tell you something that may quiet your heart. You were never meant to carry all of this alone. When you try to hold every fear, every responsibility, every outcome in your own hands, it exhausts you. You were designed to lean on me, not because you are weak, but because I am your father. A loving father does not watch his child strain under a weight he is willing to lift. Imagine a small child trying to carry a heavy box across a room. The child struggles, determined to prove they can do it alone. But the father stands nearby, ready to help, waiting for the moment the child looks up and says, "I can't do this by myself." My beloved child, that father is who I am to you. I am not disappointed that the box feels heavy. I am moved by your effort, but I long for your trust. What you are carrying right now, the fear of failing, the pressure to succeed, the uncertainty about tomorrow, the quiet ache in your heart, bring it to me. Speak it honestly. Lay it down without shame. I do not measure you by how much you can endure. I cherish you because you are mine. You are not invisible in your struggle. You are not forgotten in your exhaustion. You are not weak because you feel overwhelmed. You are human, and you are deeply loved. And as you continue to listen, I will show you that even the weight you carry has not escaped my attention. My beloved child, let this settle deep within you. This moment is not random. The timing of this message is not accidental. The fact that you are here, listening, breathing in these words is not the result of chance. I am a God of intention. I do not move without purpose, and I do not speak without reason. You may look at your life and see disorder. You may see delays, detours, and disappointments. You may feel as though you are wandering through events that make little sense. But I see the full picture. I see the beginning and the end at the same time. What feels scattered to you is carefully woven together by my hands. Think of a tapestry being formed. When you stand behind it, you see knots, loose threads, and colors that seem to clash. It looks messy from that angle. But when you turn it around, the design is breathtaking. My beloved child, you are standing too close to the threads of your own life to see the beauty I am creating. What feels tangled is actually connected. What feels delayed is actually aligned. You wonder why certain people cross your path. You question why some stayed and why others left. You replay conversations, thinking about what you could have said differently. But I was present in every encounter. I allowed certain doors to close because they were not meant to hold your future. I allowed certain challenges because they were shaping strength inside you that comfort never could. Even the struggles that caught you off guard did not surprise me. Before the difficulty arrived, I had already prepared grace for you. Before the storm formed, I had already measured its limits. Nothing in your life has slipped past my awareness. Nothing has happened outside my sight. There were days when you felt abandoned. Moments when you thought, if God cared, this wouldn't be happening. My beloved child, my care is not proven by the absence of hardship. It is revealed in my presence through it. I do not always remove the valley, but I walk you through it. I do not always stop the wind, but I anchor you so you are not swept away. You may not understand why the timing has unfolded the way it has. You hoped certain prayers would be answered faster. You believed some breakthroughs would come sooner. And when they did not, doubt tried to grow in the silence. But delay is not denial. Sometimes what you call waiting is actually preparation. I have been arranging details behind scenes you cannot see. If I showed you everything at once, it would overwhelm you. If I revealed the entire plan, you might try to control it. So I unfold your story one chapter at a time. Each step prepares you for the next. Each lesson strengthens you for what is ahead. My timing is not rushed, and it is not careless. It is precise. Even this message is positioned in your life like a marker on a path. It is a reminder that you are guided. It is proof that I am active. You are not drifting aimlessly through random events. You are being led, even when you do not feel it. You are being shaped, even when you resist it. There are connections forming right now that you cannot yet perceive. There are opportunities being aligned that you have not imagined. There are answers moving toward you, even if they have not arrived. I am never idle. I am always working on your behalf, even in silence. My beloved child, trust that your steps are ordered. Trust that the seasons of your life are purposeful. Trust that the pain you endured was not meaningless. Nothing has been wasted. Not your tears, not your prayers, not your waiting. This is not random. This is orchestration. This is love guiding you through unseen pathways. And as you continue forward, you will begin to see that even the smallest moments were part of a greater design I have been building for you all along. My beloved child, I want to speak now to the place where the battle has been the loudest, your mind. Long before situations unfold around you, the struggle begins within you. Thoughts rise like waves, one after another, sometimes calm, sometimes crashing. And lately, those waves have not been gentle. You replay conversations in your head. You imagine outcomes that have not happened. You create scenarios filled with fear, and your heart responds as if they are already real. Overthinking has stolen your rest. Anxiety has whispered possibilities that leave you tense and unsettled. You try to quiet your mind, but it feels as though it has a life of its own. My beloved child, I see this internal storm. I see how a single negative thought can multiply into many. One doubt becomes 10. One fear becomes a chain of worry. And before you know it, you are exhausted, not from what has happened, but from what might happen. There are lies that have tried to take root in your thinking. Lies that say you are not enough. Lies that say you will fail. Lies that tell you others are ahead while you are falling behind. Lies that whisper that you have missed your moment. These thoughts feel convincing because they repeat themselves. But repetition does not make them truth. Let me gently correct what has been distorted. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not incapable. You are not alone in this season. The voice that tells you otherwise does not come from me. My voice does not rush you with fear. My voice does not shame you for your humanity. My voice calls you forward with peace. You have been trying to solve tomorrow's problems with today's strength. That is why you feel overwhelmed. You were never meant to carry future possibilities all at once. I give you grace for today. I give you light for this step. When you try to light the entire path at once, your mind grows tired. But when you trust me for the next step, clarity returns. Imagine a small lamp in a dark room. It does not illuminate every corner at once, but it gives enough light to move safely forward. That is how my guidance works in your life. I do not flood your mind with every answer. I steady your thoughts so you can take the next faithful step. The battlefield of your mind is not a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that you care deeply. You want to make wise decisions. You want to avoid pain. You want to protect your future. But when your desire for control becomes too strong, anxiety grows. Release the need to predict every outcome. Release the habit of rehearsing worst-case scenarios. When fearful thoughts come, do not fight them with panic. Bring them to me. Speak them honestly. Say, Father, this is what I am thinking. I am not intimidated by your worries. I am not frustrated by your questions. When you invite me into your thoughts, they lose their power to control you. You may not be able to stop every anxious idea from appearing, but you can choose which voice you believe. Believe the voice that says you are held. Believe the voice that says you are guided. Believe the voice that says I am already ahead of you in tomorrow. Peace is not the absence of thoughts. Peace is my presence within them. Let me sit with you in your overthinking. Let me calm the racing patterns. Let me replace harsh self-criticism with compassion. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You do not need to have it all figured out to be secure. My beloved child, your mind is precious. It was created to imagine, to dream, to reason. Do not allow fear to occupy the space where hope was meant to live. When the storm rises in your thoughts, remember this: I am greater than what you are imagining, and I am steady even when your mind feels uncertain. My beloved child, there is a reason I urged you to open this message right now. Not yesterday. Not next week. Now. Timing matters more than you realize. You're standing at a delicate place in your journey, even if it does not look dramatic from the outside. There are decisions forming in your heart. There are emotions reaching a tipping point. There are thoughts that, if left unattended, could quietly shape your direction. I speak when the soil of your heart is ready. You have been at risk of believing something untrue about yourself. You have been close to settling for less than what I intend. The weariness you feel has tempted you to lower your expectations, to shrink your hopes, to tell yourself, this is just how life will be. My beloved child, I could not allow that narrative to settle in you. That is why I called you here. There are unseen pressures around you. Subtle discouragements. Quiet comparisons. Lingering disappointments. They have been slowly trying to define your outlook. You may not have noticed the shift, but I did. I saw the way your confidence began to thin. I saw the way your prayers became shorter, more cautious. I saw the way hope started protecting itself from further disappointment. I am not speaking to you in urgency because something terrible is about to happen. I am speaking with urgency because something beautiful is at risk of being abandoned inside you. Here is a promise I placed within your heart. A vision. A quiet longing for more peace, more purpose, more alignment. But when waiting stretches on, you start questioning whether that longing was ever real. You begin to wonder if it was just imagination. My beloved child, it was not imagination. It was inspiration. It came from me. If I waited much longer to speak, doubt might have grown roots. And doubt, when left alone too long, can harden into disbelief. So I interrupted your scrolling. I interrupted your routine. I interrupted your mental noise to remind you who you are and what I am doing. You are also approaching a transition. It may not have a date mark on your calendar yet, but the shift is forming. A conversation is coming. An opportunity is approaching. The realization is unfolding. And I needed your heart steady before it arrives. I needed your mind grounded in truth before new doors appear. Because when change comes, fear often tries to speak first. I am preparing you, not alarming you. Imagine a shepherd who gently calls his sheep closer before guiding them to a new field. The call is not a warning of danger, but an invitation into provision. That is what this moment is. I am drawing you close so that when the next step unfolds, you will recognize my hand in it. You have asked me for clarity. You have prayed for direction. You have whispered, "Show me what to do." And sometimes my answer comes not as a loud instruction, but as a steadying presence. Before I reveal the next step, I strengthen your heart to walk it. There is also protection in this timing. Certain thoughts that have been circling your mind needed to be replaced before they shaped your actions. Certain insecurities needed to be softened before they influenced your choices. I am guarding you not only from external harm, but from internal conclusions that do not reflect my truth. My beloved child, when I say, "Open my message right now," it is because love does not delay when it sees a child at a crossroads. Love steps in. Love speaks clearly. Love angers. This moment is a covering over you. It is reassurance before transition. It is clarity before decision. It is strength before movement. You are not being rushed. You are being prepared. And what is ahead of you requires the steadiness I am building inside you now. My beloved child, there is a door in front of you. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but you feel it in your spirit. It stands quietly in the hallway of your heart. You pass by it often. You glance at it in your thoughts. Sometimes you even reach for the handle, but then you pull your hand back. You have been afraid to open it. This door represents change. It represents healing. It represents a step forward that feels uncertain. On the other side of it is growth. But growth always requires leaving something familiar behind. Even if what is familiar has been painful, at least it is known. And the unknown can feel frightening. You have asked yourself, what if I open this door and I am disappointed again? What if I try and it does not work? What if I trust and I am hurt? These questions are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you have been hurt before. You are cautious because you remember what pain feels like. But my beloved child, listen closely. I am not standing on the side of fear. I am standing on the other side of the door. You think you are walking toward uncertainty, but you are walking toward me. You think you are stepping into risk, but you are stepping into alignment. The door you fear is not a trap. It is an invitation. Imagine a room that has been closed for a long time. Dust gathers. Air becomes still. Light does not enter. When the door is finally opened, fresh air rushes in. Sunlight fills the space. What once felt stagnant begins to breathe again. That is what I desire for parts of your life that you have kept sealed. There are conversations you need to have. Boundaries you need to set. Dreams you need to revisit. Forgiveness you need to release. You hesitate because you do not know how others will respond. You hesitate because you fear discomfort. But stagnation has its own quiet cost. Staying behind a closed door may feel safe, but it slowly drains your spirit. I do not rush you through doors. I walk with you to them. I place my hand over yours on the handle. I whisper, "You are not alone." The courage you think you lack is already growing inside you. You have survived more than you realize. You have endured storms that once felt impossible. The same strength that carried you then will carry you now. Sometimes the door you fear most is the door of healing. To open it means admitting that something hurt you deeply. It means allowing yourself to feel what you have tried to suppress. It means trusting that healing is possible, and that can feel vulnerable. But vulnerability in my presence is never wasted. It is the soil where restoration begins. You also fear that opening this door might require letting go of something you have held tightly. Perhaps it is a relationship dynamic that no longer serves you. Perhaps it is a version of yourself that you have outgrown. Letting go can feel like loss, but sometimes release is how I create room for greater things. My beloved child, I do not call you to doors that lead to destruction. I lead you to doors that lead to freedom. You do not have to force them open. You do not have to break them down. When the time is right, they will open with my grace. Take a breath. Feel my presence beside you. The fear you sense is not a warning to retreat. It is simply the trembling before growth. And when you choose to trust me enough to turn the handle, you will discover that I have already prepared what waits on the other side. My beloved child, there is something I must say clearly, so that no doubt remains in your heart. I am not disappointed in you. You have carried that fear quietly. Even if you have never spoken it out loud, it has lingered in the background of your thoughts. When you make mistakes, when you lose patience, when you fall short of your own expectations, a subtle voice whispers, "God must be tired of me by now." But that voice does not come from me. I see your imperfections, yes. I see the moments when you react instead of respond. I see the times you choose fear over trust. I see the habits you are still trying to break. But my beloved child, seeing your flaws does not reduce my love. It deepens my compassion. You measure yourself by performance. You believe that if you pray more, achieve more, then you will be more acceptable. But my love was never built on your performance. It was rooted in your identity long before you understood how to earn anything. You are my child first. Everything else comes second. Imagine a small child learning to walk. The child stumbles again and again. They fall. They wobble. They cry in frustration. But the father does not stand at a distance shaking his head. He kneels down. He opens his arms. He celebrates every attempt. He sees the effort, not just the fall. That is how I look at you. You have been hard on yourself lately. You replay your failures more than your progress. You magnify your weaknesses and minimize your growth. You hold yourself to standards that even I do not demand. And when you cannot meet those expectations, you assume I must feel the same frustration you feel toward yourself. My beloved child, I do not love you in pieces. I do not withdraw when you struggle. I do not keep a tally of your missteps. When you come to me weary, I do not turn you away. When you come to me ashamed, I do not expose you. I cover you with grace. There are things you wish you had done differently. Words you wish you could take back. Opportunities you wish you had pursued more boldly. You look at those moments and feel regret tighten in your chest. But regret does not define your future. It is simply a reminder that you are still learning. Growth is not a straight line. It is a journey with curves, pauses, and unexpected turns. And through every stage of your growth, I remain constant. My affection does not rise and fall with your behavior. It remains steady, like the rhythm of the ocean against the shore. You may feel distant from me at times. You may feel unworthy to speak to me when you fall short. But distance is not created by your weakness. It is created by the lie that tells you to hide. Come closer instead. Bring me your confusion. Bring me your guilt. Bring me the parts of yourself you wish were different. I already know them. My beloved child, if you could see yourself through my eyes, you would not see a failure. You would see a heart that keeps trying. You would see resilience in the face of struggle. You would see courage in the midst of doubt. You would see someone who has not given up, even when it would have been easier to do so. I am not disappointed in you. I am invested in you. I am shaping you gently, patiently, faithfully. And every time you rise again after falling, I smile, not because you are perfect, but because you are growing. Let that truth settle into the deepest part of you. You are loved, not tolerated. You are cherished, not judged. And nothing you have done has the power to undo that. My beloved child, there is something about waiting that tests your heart more than anything else. You have called it delay. You have called it silence. You have even called it abandonment. But what you thought was delay has been preparation. You look at the calendar and measure time by days, months, and years. You measure progress by visible results. When nothing seems to move, you assume nothing is happening. But growth does not always announce itself with noise. Some of the most important transformations take place beneath the surface, where no one can see. Think of a seed buried in the soil. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. The ground remains still. The surface appears unchanged. But beneath that soil, life is forming. Roots are stretching downward before anything breaks upward. Strength is being built in hidden places before beauty becomes visible. You have felt buried in certain seasons of your life. Buried under responsibility. Buried under waiting. Buried under prayers that seemed unanswered. You wondered if you were forgotten. You wondered if your dreams had been covered permanently. But my beloved child, burial is not the end of a seed. It is the beginning of growth. If I had given you everything you asked for immediately, you might not have been ready to sustain it. The blessings you desire require capacity. They require maturity. They require depth. And depth is formed in seasons of waiting. There were lessons you needed to learn quietly. There were patterns in your thinking that needed to shift. There were insecurities that needed to be exposed and healed. Had I rushed the process, those weak foundations would have cracked under pressure. I was not withholding from you. I was strengthening you. You often compare your timeline to others. You see people stepping into opportunities that you long for. You see doors opening for them while yours remain closed. And you ask, why not me? But you are not on their path. You are on yours. And your journey has been carefully measured according to what will shape you best. The waiting has developed patience in you. It has deepened your empathy for others who struggle. It has taught you how to trust when you cannot trace. These qualities may not feel impressive to the world, but they are precious to me. They form character that lasts longer than quick success. There were also dangers you could not see. Situations that looked promising but carried hidden costs. If I had answered certain prayers exactly when you wanted, you might have stepped into something that would have drained you or distracted you. My protection sometimes feels like postponement. but it is love in disguise. You thought the silence meant absence, but I was speaking in ways you did not recognize. I was shaping circumstances. I was aligning connections. I was removing obstacles quietly before you ever encountered them. Just because you did not hear loud instructions does not mean I was inactive. My beloved child, the season you called delay has been building resilience in you. It has taught you how to stand firm even when outcomes are uncertain. It has shown you that your identity is not tied to immediate results. You are more than what you achieve. You are more than what arrives quickly. Now, as you look back, you may begin to see small signs of growth. Strength where there used to be fear. Wisdom where there used to be impulsiveness. Calm where there used to be panic. That is not accidental. That is preparation bearing fruit. What you thought was delay with my careful timing. What you thought was stillness was hidden progress. And soon, when the surface finally breaks and new life becomes visible, you will understand that every quiet moment was necessary. Trust the process I have led you through. Nothing has been wasted, not even the waiting. My beloved child, I know it has felt like a storm has been circling your life. Not always a loud, dramatic storm, but a steady one. Winds of uncertainty, rain of unexpected problems, thunder of difficult conversations. Some days it feels like as soon as one cloud passes, another begins to gather. You have asked yourself, why does it feel like everything is happening at once? When challenges pile up, it can feel personal. It can feel targeted. You may even wonder if you are being punished or tested beyond your strength. But listen to me carefully. The storm around you is not a sign that I have left you. Storms reveal things. They show where foundations are strong and where they need reinforcement. They expose cracks that were hidden in calm weather. And while exposure can feel uncomfortable, it is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to strengthen what remains. Imagine a tree standing alone in a field. When the wind comes, the tree bends. It does not enjoy the pressure. It does not ask for the shaking. But each storm forces its roots to grow deeper into the soil. Without resistance, roots remain shallow. And shallow roots cannot sustain long seasons. My beloved child, some of the resistance you are facing is deepening you. It is anchoring you in ways comfort never could. You are becoming stronger than you realize. Even when you feel like you are barely holding on, you are still standing. You have also feared that the storm might overwhelm you. You worry that one more wave will push you under. One more disappointment will be too much. But I am in the boat with you. Even when the water feels close to the edge, I am not alarmed. I see the limits of the storm. I know exactly how far it can go. There were moments when you cried out for immediate calm. You wanted the wind to stop instantly. You wanted relief without delay. And sometimes I do quiet storms quickly. But other times, I allow them to continue just long enough to teach you that my presence is greater than your fear. Do you remember how far you have already come? There were storms before this one. Situations you thought would break you. Seasons that felt unbearable. Yet here you are. Not untouched but still standing. Not unscarred but still breathing. That is not your strength alone. That is my sustaining hand beneath you. Storms also wash away what does not belong. They clear old leaves. They remove weak branches. They force you to release what you were holding too tightly. You may not enjoy the loss, but sometimes loss creates room for new growth. I do not send storms to harm you. I allow challenges to shape you. And I never allow more than what will ultimately serve your growth. Even when you cannot see the purpose in the moment, Trust that I do not waste your pain. My beloved child, you are not drowning. You are learning to trust in deeper waters. You are discovering that your peace does not depend on perfect conditions. True peace is not the absence of storms. It is the assurance that I am with you in them. When the wind howls around you, speak my name. When the rain falls heavy, remember my promises. When fear tries to shout louder than faith, lean into my presence. I am not watching from a distance. I am closer than the waves that frighten you. And hear me clearly. This storm will not last forever. Clouds move. Winds settle. Waters calm. And when the sky clears, you will see that you have grown stronger through it. Hold steady, my beloved child. The storm is not your end. It is shaping your endurance, and I am guiding you safely through it. My beloved child, while you have been focused on surviving the storm, I have been quietly rebuilding you from the inside. You have looked at certain parts of yourself and thought they were broken beyond repair. You have noticed cracks in your confidence, fractures in your joy, weaknesses in your faith, and you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. But I am a master builder. When a house has endured years of wind and rain, wise builders do not simply paint over the damage. They examine the foundation. They remove what is weakened. They strengthen what must remain. The process can look messy. Walls may come down. Dust may fill the air. For a moment, it can seem worse than before. But the purpose is restoration, not ruin. That is what I am doing within you. There are beliefs about yourself that were built on unstable ground. Beliefs formed from rejection, from criticism, from comparison. You accepted them as truth, and they shaped how you saw your own worth. But those beliefs could not support the future I have for you. So I have been gently dismantling them. There are habits of thinking that kept you small, patterns that made you doubt your voice, fears that kept you from stepping forward. I have been shining light into those corners, not to shame you, but to free you. Rebuilding always begins with truth. You have also felt the discomfort of change. Parts of your identity are shifting. You are not the same person you were a few years ago. In some ways that unsettles you. Familiar reactions no longer feel right. Old environments no longer fit. You sense growth, but growth feels unfamiliar. My beloved child, this discomfort is not loss. It is expansion. When I rebuild, I strengthen your foundation in love instead of approval. I anchor your identity in who you are to me, not in how others respond to you. I teach you resilience instead of avoidance. I shape courage instead of self-protection. You may not yet see the full design, but trust that I do. I know the weight your future will carry, and I am preparing you to hold it with grace. I know the doors that will open, and I am fortifying your heart so you can walk through them confidently. Even the painful experiences you endured have become part of this rebuilding. What tried to break you has instead revealed your endurance. What tried to silence you has strengthened your voice. What tried to diminish you has awakened a deeper understanding of who you are. My beloved child, I am not patching you up temporarily. I am restoring you thoroughly. I am reinforcing your inner world so that external circumstances do not shake you as easily. I am shaping stability where there was once insecurity. And as I rebuild you, I am also inviting others into this same restoration. When you support this message, when you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you become part of the rebuilding in countless hearts. My word is a seed, and every act of generosity becomes water that helps it grow in someone else's life. I say to you, give, and it will be given to you. not as a distant verse, but as a living promise spoken over your obedience. When you choose to give, you are not funding a platform. You are lighting a lamp in someone's darkness. This is your moment to act in faith, to sow into good soil, to let your generosity become a river that carries my truth further than you can see. Do not hesitate when I stir your heart. Step into this act as a prophetic response, knowing that I see every seed you plant. I bless the hands that give, and I multiply what is released with trust. Go now, and sow boldly into this work. My beloved child, as I rebuild you, know that you are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more fully yourself. Stronger, clearer, steadier, and what I am building within you will stand. My beloved child, there is a quiet fear that has followed you, and it sounds like this: I am too late. Too late to start over. Too late to change direction. Too late to become who I once dreamed of being. You look at the years behind you and measure them with regret. You count missed chances. You replay moments when you hesitated, when you doubted, when you chose safety over courage. But hear me clearly, you are not too late. Time, in your eyes, feels unforgiving. You believe that certain doors only open at specific ages, that certain opportunities expire if not seized quickly. And while seasons do change, I am not limited by the clocks you fear. I am the author of time itself. I can restore what feels lost. I can redeem what feels wasted. You look at others and think they are ahead. You compare milestones. You measure accomplishments. You see someone else living a version of the life you once imagined for yourself, and something inside you sinks. But you are not behind. You are on a different timeline, one designed specifically for your growth and your calling. Imagine a traveler who believes they have taken a wrong turn. They panic, thinking they have ruined the journey. But what they cannot see is that the new path leads to a viewpoint they would have otherwise missed. What felt like a mistake becomes a detour toward beauty. My beloved child, even the turns you regret have shaped your wisdom. You have learned through experience. You have grown through trial. You have gained empathy through hardship. These are not small things. They are treasures, and they have prepared you for the next chapter more than you realize. There are dreams you quietly set aside because you assumed the window had closed. Perhaps it was a career change, a creative pursuit, a relationship restored, a calling you once felt deeply but later silenced. You told yourself that season has passed, but who told you that? It was not me. I am not finished writing your story. The years behind you were not a waste. They were foundation. Even the years that felt stagnant were forming something within you. Patience, clarity, strength. Sometimes the chapters that seem slow are building depth for what comes next. My beloved child, your worth is not measured by how early you achieved something. It is not determined by how quickly you arrive. Your journey is not a race against others. It is a walk with me. And when you walk with me, every step has meaning. You fear that you have missed your moment. But your moment is not a single opportunity that disappears forever. Your moment is every day you choose to trust me again. Every day you dare to believe that growth is still possible. Every day you open your heart to new beginnings. Do not let regret anchor you to the past. Regret can teach you, but it must not imprison you. Release what you cannot change. Learn from what you experienced, and allow hope to rise again. I can breathe life into dry places. I can awaken dormant gifts. I can open doors you thought were sealed permanently. Nothing is beyond my reach. My beloved child, lift your head. The story is not over. You are not disqualified by your past. You are not defined by what did not happen. You are still becoming. You are still growing. You are still called. You are not too late. Not for healing. Not for purpose. Not for joy. Not for love. Trust me with the time ahead. I know how to weave even your delays into something beautiful. And the chapters that are coming will carry a depth and richness that only your journey could produce. My beloved child, there is a whisper that has followed you for some time now. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It comes softly, often when you are alone. Sometimes it reaches you in the quiet of the morning. Sometimes in the stillness before sleep. And sometimes in the middle of your busiest day, when everything else is loud. You have wondered if that whisper is real. It nudges you toward change. It encourages you to trust. It gently corrects you when your thoughts drift toward fear. It invites you to pause when you are about to rush into something. It reminds you that you are capable when insecurity rises. That whisper is not your imagination. It is my voice, speaking to your spirit. I do not always speak in thunder. I do not always shake the ground beneath your feet. My guidance is often gentle, because I desire relationship, not intimidation. The whisper requires closeness. You must lean in to hear it clearly. And that leaning in is where intimacy grows. There have been times when you ignored the whisper, not out of rebellion, but out of uncertainty. You questioned whether it was truly me. You worried about making the wrong decision. So you hesitated. And sometimes hesitation protected you. But other times it kept you from stepping forward confidently. My beloved child, I am patient with your learning. Recognizing my voice takes time. It grows through trust and experience. The more you invite me into your daily thoughts, the clearer that whisper becomes. The whisper often calls you to peace. When your mind races with anxiety, I whisper, be still. When anger begins to rise, I whisper, choose grace. When fear paints dark futures, I whisper, trust me. My voice does not pressure you into panic. It draws you toward calm assurance. Sometimes the whisper challenges you. It encourages you to forgive when holding on feels easier. It invites you to speak truth when silence feels safer. It prompts you to take a step that stretches your comfort zone. Growth rarely comes with loud applause. It begins with a quiet yes inside your heart. You may ask, why don't you just make everything obvious? But if I removed every need for discernment, you would not grow in wisdom. If I answered every question before you asked it, you would not learn to seek me. The whisper teaches you to listen. It strengthens your sensitivity to my presence. There are many voices in your world. Opinions from others. Expectations from society. Narratives shaped by past experiences. All of them compete for your attention. That is why stillness is so important. When you slow down, when you breathe deeply, when you release distractions, the whisper becomes clearer. My beloved child, the whisper is never condemning. If you hear harshness, shame, or hopelessness, that is not me. My voice convicts gently, guides wisely, and comforts faithfully. Even when I correct you, it is with tenderness. I am shaping you, not scolding you. Think of a loving father walking beside his child through a crowded street. He does not need to shout constantly. A gentle hand on the shoulder, a quiet word of direction, a reassuring presence. That is how I walk with you. The whisper you keep hearing is proof that you are not alone in your decisions. It is evidence that I am engaged in your everyday life. I care about the details you consider small. I care about the choices that shape your path. So when the gentle nudge comes again, do not dismiss it. Pause. Reflect. Invite me into the moment. The whisper is not random. It is intentional guidance, tailored for you. My beloved child, lean closer. In the quiet, you will discover that my voice has been there all along, steady and faithful, guiding you step by step. My beloved child, there are wounds within you that you rarely speak of. They are not visible on your skin, yet they ache in quiet moments. You have learned how to function around them. You have built routines that help you avoid thinking about them too deeply. But they are still there, beneath the surface. I see them. There are memories that still sting when they surface unexpectedly. A betrayal that altered how you trust. Words spoken over you that shaped how you see yourself. A loss that left an empty space no one else can fully understand. You have told yourself that you should be over it by now. You have wondered why it still hurts. But healing is not a race, my beloved child. Some wounds are like deep cuts. They require careful attention. They require time. If rushed, they reopen. If ignored, they become infected. I am not frustrated by your process. I am patient with it. You learned to hide certain pain because you feared being misunderstood. You feared being seen as weak. So you smiled when you needed comfort. You reassured others when you were the one who needed reassurance. You became strong on the outside while quietly carrying fragile places inside. But you do not have to hide from me. I was present when the hurt first occurred. I saw the look on your face. I felt the heaviness in your heart. I heard the silent question that formed in your mind. Why? Even when you did not cry out loud, I was there. Healing does not always come in one dramatic moment. Often it arrives like a slow sunrise. At first, the sky is still dark. Then a faint light appears on the horizon. Gradually, warmth replaces the chill. That is how I work within you. I bring light gently, layer by layer. Sometimes healing begins with acknowledgement. You must allow yourself to admit, that hurt me. You must give yourself permission to feel what you once suppressed. Emotions are not enemies. They are signals. When you bring them to me honestly, I meet you there without judgment. There are also lies attached to your wounds. Lies that say you were not enough. Lies that say you were too much. Lies that say you deserved what happened. My beloved child, those lies are not from me. Pain may explain why something happened, but it does not define your worth. I am healing your view of yourself. I am untangling the false narratives that attach themselves to your identity. You are not defined by who left. You are not defined by who rejected you. You are not defined by your worst day. Healing also requires forgiveness, but forgiveness does not mean pretending nothing happened. It means releasing the hold that pain has on your future. It means choosing not to let bitterness shape your heart. I know forgiveness feels heavy. I know it feels unfair at times. But forgiveness is freedom for you, not a reward for them. My beloved child, I am restoring areas of your heart that you thought would always remain tender. I am strengthening the places that once felt permanently broken. The fact that you still feel deeply is not weakness. It is proof that your heart is alive. There will come a day when you look back and realize that what once triggered tears now brings wisdom. What once caused anxiety now carries peace. That is the quiet miracle of healing. Stay open with me. Bring me your unspoken hurts. Bring me the memories that still linger. I am not overwhelmed by your pain. I am committed to your restoration. You do not have to rush the sunrise. Let my light rise steadily within you, I am healing what you do not talk about, and I will not stop until your heart feels whole again. My beloved child, before you ever questioned your purpose, before you ever doubted your worth, before you ever compared yourself to anyone else, I chose you. Not by accident, not as an afterthought, not as a backup plan. I chose you intentionally, lovingly, completely. There are moments when you feel ordinary. You look at your life and see routine. You see imperfections. You see limitations. And you quietly assume that you are just one among many, unnoticed and replaceable. But that is not how I see you. When an artist begins a masterpiece, every brushstroke is deliberate. Every color is selected with care. The artist does not randomly splash paint and hope something meaningful appears. In the same way, your life is not a random collection of traits and experiences. I form you with intention. Your personality, your sensitivities, your strengths, even the challenges you have faced, all of it has shaped a unique design. There is no one else who carries your exact combination of perspective, compassion, resilience, and insight. You may overlook what makes you different, but I do not. Before you understood the word purpose, I had already woven it into you. You have questioned whether your life truly matters in a world so vast and complex. You have wondered if your small acts make any difference. But my beloved child, significance is not measured by applause. It is measured by impact. And impact often happens quietly. There are people whose lives you have touched without realizing it. A word of encouragement you spoke lingered longer than you knew. A moment of kindness you offered changed someone's day. A prayer you whispered on behalf of another created movement in places you could not see. You may not receive recognition for these things, but I see them all. You were chosen not only to receive love, but to reflect it. Sometimes you have tried to reshape yourself to fit expectations. You thought you needed to be louder, stronger, more accomplished, more confident. You thought if you adjusted enough, you would finally feel worthy. But I did not choose a different version of you. I chose you as you are. Your quiet thoughtfulness has purpose. Your deep thinking has purpose. Your creativity has purpose. Even your past struggles have purpose. They allow you to understand others in ways someone else cannot. You were not chosen because you are flawless. You were chosen because you are willing. Willing to grow. Willing to care. Willing to keep going even when life feels uncertain. There were times when rejection made you feel unwanted. When doors closed and you assumed it meant you were not enough. But rejection from people does not cancel my calling over you. Closed doors often redirect you toward the spaces where you are truly meant to thrive. My beloved child, you are not here by mistake. You are not an accident of timing. You are part of a greater design that stretches beyond what you currently understand. Even in seasons when you feel hidden, I am preparing you. Even in moments when you feel unseen, I am shaping you. Being chosen does not always mean being visible immediately. Sometimes it means being developed quietly until the right moment arrives. Lift your eyes from comparison. Release the need to measure yourself against others. Your journey is unique because your calling is unique. You were chosen before you knew it. Before you succeeded. Before you struggled. Before you believed in yourself. And nothing that has happened since has changed that choice. You are mine, intentionally and eternally. My beloved child, you have been carrying weight that was never meant to rest on your shoulders. You have taken responsibility for outcomes you cannot control. You have tried to fix situations that require more than human strength. You have held on to burdens as if releasing them would mean you no longer care. But caring does not mean carrying everything alone. You wake up already thinking about what must be handled. Conversations that need to happen. Problems that need solutions. Expectations that must be met. Your mind begins working before your feet even touch the floor. And by the end of the day, you feel drained, not only from what you did, but from what you worried about. My beloved child, there is a difference between responsibility and ownership. Responsibility means doing your part with integrity. Ownership means believing everything depends entirely on you. When you cross that line, anxiety grows heavy. You are never designed to hold the whole world together. That role is mine. Imagine a traveler walking a long road with a heavy backpack filled with stones. With every step, the load presses deeper into their back. The traveler grows tired, slower, strained. Then someone offers to carry the pack. But the traveler hesitates, thinking, "It is my burden. I should handle it." My beloved child, I am offering to carry what exhausts you. There are relationships you are trying to manage perfectly. You want to say the right words, make the right choices, avoid conflict. You believe if you try hard enough, you can control how others feel or respond. But you cannot live other people's journeys for them. You can love them. You can support them. But you cannot carry their growth. There are future outcomes you are trying to secure in advance. You replay possibilities, hoping to prevent disappointment. You imagine scenarios, hoping to prepare yourself for every turn. But tomorrow does not need to be solved today. I am already present in what has not yet happened. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means trusting me enough to place the weight in my hands. It means saying, "Father, I have done what I can. The rest is yours." That act of surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. You fear that if you release control, everything will fall apart. But control is an illusion. Even when you hold tightly, you cannot dictate every outcome. Peace does not come from control. It comes from trust. When you lay your burdens before me, I do not dismiss them. I do not minimize your concerns. I receive them fully, and I begin working in ways you cannot always see. My beloved child, your shoulders were not built to carry the future. Your heart was not created to hold constant pressure. You were designed to walk with me, not ahead of me. Picture a child walking beside a loving father on a long journey. The child may carry a small bag, but when it becomes too heavy, the father lifts it without hesitation. The child continues walking freely, no longer weighed down. That is how I desire you to move through life, with freedom, not strain. Release the fear of what might happen. Release the guilt of what you cannot fix. Release the pressure to be everything for everyone. You are not the savior. I am. Rest in that truth. Let your breathing slow. Let your heart settle. When you surrender the weight, you create space for joy to return. You create room for clarity. You allow strength to rise naturally instead of being forced. My beloved child, place the burden in my hands. I am strong enough. I am faithful enough. I am present enough. The weight is not yours to carry. My beloved child, there have been moments in your life when things did not work out the way you hoped. Plans fell through. Opportunities disappeared. Certain relationships shifted unexpectedly. At the time, you felt disappointment. You questioned why doors closed. You wondered why something you desired so deeply was removed from your path. But what you did not see was my protection. Not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is rescue. There were situations that looked promising on the surface but carried hidden complications. There were paths that seemed exciting but would have drained your peace. There were connections that felt meaningful but would have led you away from growth. I saw what you could not see. I understood consequences that were not yet visible. You measure events by immediate feelings. If something brings joy, you assume it is good. If something brings pain, you assume it is bad. But I see beyond the moment. I see where each choice leads. I see the long road, not just the first step. Imagine a child reaching toward a bright flame because it looks beautiful. The child does not understand the danger. A loving father intervenes, pulling the child back. A child may cry, thinking something wonderful was taken away, but the father knows the burn it would have caused. My beloved child, I have pulled you back from flames you never recognized. There were accidents that almost happened, conversations that could have escalated further, decisions you nearly made that would have created deeper regret. You may never fully know how many times I redirected you quietly. Protection does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it is a subtle delay, a feeling of hesitation, a sudden change of plans, a conversation that shifts direction. You may interpret these as inconvenience, but often they are alignment. There have been nights when you slept unaware of spiritual battles around you, days when you walked through environments that carried unseen tension, yet you remained steady. That was not coincidence. I was shielding you. This does not mean you will never face difficulty. Protection does not remove all hardship, but it limits what can touch you. It sets boundaries around the storms. It ensures that even when challenges come, they do not consume you. You have also been protected from becoming someone you were not meant to be. Certain heartbreaks softened your pride. Certain losses humbled you. Certain failures redirected your ambition. If everything had unfolded exactly as you wanted, you might have drifted into a version of yourself that lacked depth and compassion. I protect not only your circumstances, but your character. My beloved child, I know you sometimes wish I would explain everything in advance. You want clarity before change. You want understanding before surrender. But if I revealed every danger you avoided, you would be overwhelmed by what could have been. Trust that I am vigilant. Trust that I am attentive. Trust that I am actively guarding what concerns you. When something does not go your way, pause before assuming it is loss. Ask me to show you if it is protection. When a door closes, instead of questioning your worth, consider that I may be steering you toward something better suited for your growth. You are not walking through life alone and unguarded. I am aware of every detail. I see the roads ahead long before you approach them. My beloved child, rest in this assurance. Even when you do not see my hand, it is there. Even when you do not understand the redirection, it is purposeful. You are protected in ways you cannot measure, and I will continue to guard you, not out of control, but out of love. My beloved child, I have seen every tear you have cried, the ones that fell freely in moments of overwhelm, the ones you tried to hold back but could not, and even the tears that never reached your eyes, the silent breaking inside your chest that no one else noticed. None of them have been wasted. You live in a world that often tells you to be strong, to move on quickly, to hide your pain behind composure. You have tried to do that. You have wiped your face, straightened your shoulders, and continued forward even when your heart felt heavy. But strength is not the absence of tears. Sometimes tears are the evidence of courage, the courage to feel deeply and keep going anyway. There were nights when you cried yourself to sleep, wondering how things became so complicated. There were mornings when you woke up already tired, carrying sadness from the day before. You questioned whether your prayers were heard. You wondered if anyone truly understood the depth of what you were carrying. I understood. Every tear carries a story. Some are born from disappointment, others from betrayal, others from exhaustion, and some from longing, a longing for things to be different, for peace to come, for clarity to arrive. My beloved child, your tears are not signs of weakness. They are signals that your heart is alive. Imagine rain falling on dry soil. At first, the ground looks muddy and unsettled, but beneath the surface, that rain is nourishing seeds that would otherwise remain dormant. In the same way, your tears have watered places inside you that needed renewal. Grief has deepened your compassion. Disappointment has refined your expectations. Heartache has taught you what truly matters. None of it felt pleasant. None of it was easy. But it has shaped you into someone more empathetic, more aware, more resilient. You may think your tears change nothing, but they change you, and that transformation matters. There are prayers you prayed through tears, words barely forming because your throat tightened with emotion. You not think those prayers were weak. They were powerful. They came from a place of raw honesty, and I am near to honesty. Sometimes you cried because you felt alone. Sometimes because you felt misunderstood. Sometimes because you were overwhelmed by responsibility. Each tear was seen. Each moment was held. My beloved child, I do not measure your faith by how rarely you cry. I measure it by how you continue to seek me even while crying. You did not turn away completely. Even in confusion, you reached upward. Even in frustration, you whispered my name. Your tears have also softened you in ways you could not anticipate. They have broken down pride. They have made room for humility. They have opened your heart to others who struggle quietly. Because you have known pain, you recognize it in others more quickly. One day, you will look back at seasons marked by tears and see growth that could not have happened any other way. You will realize that those tears were not the end of your strength, but the beginning of deeper resilience. Do not be ashamed of what you have felt. Do not apologize for your tenderness. A heart that can cry is a heart that can love deeply. My beloved child, I gather every tear. I honor every moment of vulnerability. And I promise you this, sorrow does not have the final word over your story. Joy may take time to rise again, but it will rise. Healing may move slowly, but it is moving. And the same eyes that once filled with tears will one day shine with renewed hope. Your tears have not been wasted. They have been part of your becoming. My beloved child, somewhere along your journey, your confidence was shaken. It did not disappear all at once. It faded slowly. A disappointment here, a criticism there, a failure that lingered longer than you expected. And without realizing it, you began to question yourself in ways you never used to. You started second-guessing your decisions. You replayed conversations, wondering if you said the wrong thing. You hesitated before speaking up. You doubted your abilities even in areas where you once felt strong. Confidence that once felt natural now feels fragile. But I am restoring it. True confidence is not loud. It is not arrogance. It is not pretending to know everything. True confidence is quiet assurance. It is the steady belief that you are capable because you are anchored in who you are. And who you are is not change. The world often builds confidence on achievement. It says be confident when you succeed. But when success wavers, confidence collapses. That is not the foundation I want for you. I am rebuilding your confidence on something deeper, identity. You are not valuable because of your performance. You are not worthy because of your perfection. You are not capable only when everything goes right. Your worth was established long before any success or failure touched your life. Think of a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they wobble. They fall. They scrape their knees. If they measure themselves only by those falls, they may decide they are incapable. But if they keep practicing, if they remember that falling is part of learning, something shifts. Balance begins to form. Strength develops. What once felt impossible becomes natural. You are in that process. There were moments when criticism cut deeply. Words spoken carelessly by others lingered in your mind. You replayed them. You allowed them to define how you saw yourself. But those words were opinions, not truth. They reflected someone else's perspective, not my design. I am removing the labels that do not belong to you. I am silencing the inner voice that echoes past criticism. I am reminding you of strengths you forgot you had. Confidence grows when you act despite fear. It grows when you take a step even while your hands tremble. It grows when you speak even though your voice shakes. You do not need to wait until fear disappears to move forward. Move forward, and fear will loosen its grip. My beloved child, you have survived more than you give yourself credit for. You have navigated challenges that once seemed overwhelming. You have made decisions in uncertain circumstances and learned from them. That is strength. I am also restoring your confidence by healing comparison. When you measure yourself against others constantly, you distort your own progress. Their path is not yours. Their timing is not yours. Their calling is not yours. When you focus on your own growth, clarity returns. You may not feel fully confident yet. That is okay. Restoration is a process. Each small step you take in faith rebuilds something inside you. Each time you choose courage over retreat, you strengthen your foundation. Look at how far you have come. Look at the wisdom you carry now that you did not have before. Look at the resilience that formed through hardship. My beloved child, lift your head. Straighten your posture. Not in pride, but in assurance. You are growing. You are capable. You are equipped for what is ahead. I am restoring your confidence not so you can boast, but so you can walk steadily into the future I have prepared. And as you continue forward, you will begin to feel it again, that quiet, steady belief that you are exactly where you need to be. My beloved child, there is a pain that lingers in you connected to the people who left. Some left suddenly. Some drifted away slowly. Some walked out during a season when you needed them most. And even if you rarely speak about it now, the ache of that absence still surfaces at unexpected times. You ask yourself what you did wrong. You replay conversations, searching for the moment things shifted. You wonder if you could have tried harder, said more, done less, been different. Rejection as a way of turning inward, making you question your own worth. But listen to me carefully, not everyone who leaves is a loss. Some departures are protection. Some endings are redirection. Some goodbyes create space for growth that would not have happened otherwise. When someone leaves, it does not automatically mean you failed. Sometimes it means the season has changed. Just as trees release leaves in autumn, not because the leaves were bad, but because the season requires it, relationships can shift for reasons beyond your control. You cannot force someone to stay in a chapter they were never meant to finish with you. It is natural to grieve what was. You shared memories. You built trust. You imagined a future that included them. And when that picture changed, it hurt deeply. Do not shame yourself for feeling at loss. Grief honors what mattered. But do not let grief convince you that you are unworthy of loyalty. There were lessons in those relationships. Some taught you what love feels like. Others taught you what boundaries are necessary. Some showed you how deeply you can care. Others revealed areas where you needed to grow stronger. Even painful connections carry insight. You may have noticed that after certain people left, you became more self-aware. You learned to communicate differently. You recognized patterns you no longer wanted to repeat. Growth often follows departure. My beloved child, I remove people from your life when their presence no longer aligns with your becoming. Not out of punishment, not out of cruelty, but out of care. Holding on to every connection would prevent you from stepping into new ones. Prepare for your next season. You fear being alone. You fear that those who left were the best you would ever have. But I am not limited in what I can bring into your life. There are connections ahead that will feel healthier, steadier, more aligned with who you are now. The pain of someone leaving can make you guarded. It can tempt you to build walls so high that no one can reach you again. The walls built from fear also blot out joy. Protect your heart wisely, but do not close it completely. Remember this: if someone walked away easily, they were not meant to carry the weight of your future. If someone could not celebrate your growth, they were not meant to witness your next chapter. You are not abandoned. You are being repositioned. There are people being prepared right now whose values will align with yours. People who will respect your boundaries. People who will recognize your worth without you having to convince them. Trust that every ending has cleared space for something better suited to your destiny. You may not see it immediately, but time will reveal why certain doors closed. My beloved child, release resentment. Release self-blame. Release the belief that you are not enough. You are enough. And those who are meant to walk beside you in this season will not require you to shrink yourself to keep them. The people who left were part of your story, but they are not the end of it. I am still writing, and what comes next will reflect the growth you have already stepped into. My beloved child, can you feel it? Something is shifting. It may not yet have a name. It may not yet have clear details. But deep within you, there is a subtle awareness that the season you have been in is coming to an end. Seasons change gradually. Winter does not turn to spring in a single second. At first, the air softens. Then the light lingers a little longer. Small buds appear on branches that once looked lifeless. In the same way, your life is transitioning quietly. The season behind you was necessary. It taught you resilience. It exposed weaknesses that needed strengthening. It required patience you did not know you had. But it was not meant to last forever. You have felt confined at times, as if you were planted in a place too small for your growth. You sensed potential within you that had not yet been expressed. You carried ideas, hopes, and prayers that seemed suspended in waiting. But waiting seasons are not wasted seasons. They prepare the soil. And now I am bringing you into something new. New does not always mean easier. It means different. It means fresh opportunities for growth. It means stepping into spaces that require the maturity you have been developing. The discomfort you felt before was stretching. The new season will require movement. You may notice subtle changes first. A new desire stirring within you. A conversation that opens unexpected possibilities. A door that once seemed locked now slightly open. Pay attention to these shifts. They are signs. My beloved child, do not cling to what is ending out of fear of the unknown. You may feel tempted to hold on tightly to what feels familiar, even if it no longer serves you. But growth demands release. When trees enter spring, they do not mourn the leaves that fell in autumn. They focus on new growth. They allow what was yet to nourish what is coming. In the same way, let past experiences fertilize your future instead of anchoring you to it. This new season will invite you to trust yourself more, to step forward with renewed confidence, to speak with clarity, to act with courage. You will feel moments of hesitation, but do not mistake hesitation for a warning to retreat. Sometimes it is simply the awareness that you are stepping into something greater. You have prayed for change. You have asked for breakthrough. But when breakthrough approaches, it often requires preparation. That is what the previous season was building within you. A stacked alignment. Instead of clarity, expect connections that resonate more deeply with who you are becoming. Not every door will open, but the ones that do will feel different, lighter, more natural, less forced. My beloved child, the new season is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more fully yourself. The version of you shaped by lessons learned. The version of you refined by experience. The version of you grounded in identity rather than approval. Do not rush this transition. Let it unfold. Observe what feels aligned and what feels outdated. Be willing to release habits that belong to an earlier chapter. Be open to routines that support your growth now. There will be moments when you look back at this time and realize it was the turning point. The moment when you chose not to settle. The moment when you trusted me enough to step forward. You are entering a new season. Not by accident. Not prematurely. But right on time. Walk into it with expectancy. Walk into it with faith. Walk into it knowing that I go before you, preparing the ground for every step you take. My beloved child, there are moments when you long for my voice to be louder. You wish for unmistakable signs, clear instructions, grammatic confirmations. Instead, you sometimes find yourself in silence. Prayers rise from your heart, but the response feels delayed. You listen carefully, yet all you hear is stillness. And in that stillness, doubt tries to speak. You wonder if I am distant. You question whether you missed something. You ask yourself if you prayed the wrong way or not enough. But silence does not mean absence. Silence can be sacred. Think of a seed again, resting beneath the soil. Above the ground, there is quiet. No visible movement. No obvious progress. But beneath the surface, roots are spreading. Growth is happening in places that cannot yet be seen. In the same way, my work in your life often unfolds beneath what your eyes can measure. Talent stretches your trust. When everything is explained clearly, faith feels easy. But when you must continue walking without full understanding, something deeper develops inside you. You begin to rely not on signs, but on relationship. Not on constant reassurance, but on steady belief. My beloved child, I do not withdraw from you in silence. I am closer than ever. Sometimes I quiet the noise around you so you can learn to recognize my presence without constant words. Imagine sitting beside someone you love deeply. There are moments when no words are necessary. The connection itself is enough. You feel safe simply being near each other. That is how I desire you to experience me, not only through answers, but through presence. There are lessons that only silence can teach. Patience, stillness, reflection. In silence, you confront your fears without distraction. In silence, you discover how much of your anxiety was fueled by constant noise. In silence, you learn that you are sustained even without immediate clarity. You have been conditioned to expect quick responses, instant solutions, rapid results. But growth rarely moves at that speed. Depth requires time. When you do not hear me as clearly as you wish, do not assume I am inactive. I may be aligning circumstances. I may be shaping someone else's heart. I may be protecting you from stepping too quickly into something not yet prepared. Silence is not punishment. It is preparation. There were times in your past when you felt uncertain, yet later you realized that the quiet season had strengthened you. It made you more discerning. It refined your desires. It clarified your priorities. The same is happening now. My beloved child, trust me in the silence as much as you trust me in the clarity. Your faith is not measured by how often you feel inspired. It is revealed in how you remain steady even when inspiration feels distant. Keep speaking to me. Keep bringing your questions. Keep sitting in my presence. Even if you feel nothing dramatic, something is happening. Roots are deepening. Stability is forming. The silence will not last forever. Light will break through again in ways you recognize. But when it does, you will carry a stronger foundation because you learn to trust me without constant confirmation. You are not forgotten in the quiet. You are being fortified. Stay steady, my beloved child. Even when my voice feels soft, my love remains constant. And in the stillness, you will discover that I have been holding you all along. My beloved child, there are patterns in your life that did not begin with you. Ways of thinking, ways of coping, ways of reacting. Some were passed down quietly through example. Others were inherited through pain that was never healed. You may have noticed yourself repeating behaviors you once promised you would avoid, and that realization has troubled you. You have asked yourself, why do I respond this way? Why do I struggle with the same fears? Why does this pattern feel so familiar? It feels deeper than habit. It feels embedded. But listen to me carefully. What was inherited does not have to be continued. You are not bound to every pattern you witnessed growing up. You are not destined to repeat every mistake you observed. You are not trapped by the emotional habits that surrounded you. I am breaking cycles through you. Imagine a chain that has been passed from one generation to the next. Each link represents fear, insecurity, silence, anger, scarcity, or doubt. The chain feels strong because it has existed for so long. But one link can be removed. One break can stop the pattern from extending further. You, my beloved child, are becoming that breaking point. It is not easy to recognize patterns. It requires humility. It requires honesty. It requires courage to say, this stops with me. You may feel resistance when you choose differently. Others may not understand your boundaries. They may question your growth. But growth often disrupts what is familiar. Perhaps you inherited fear around money, anxiety around stability, silence around emotions. Perhaps vulnerability was discouraged. Perhaps conflict was avoided rather than resolved. These patterns shaped you in ways you did not fully notice until now. But awareness is the beginning of freedom. I am giving you clarity so you can respond intentionally instead of automatically. Instead of reacting from old wounds, you are learning to pause. Instead of repeating learned behaviors, you are choosing healthier ones. Breaking generational patterns does not mean dishonoring where you came from. It means honoring your future. It means saying, I choose healing. I choose growth. I choose a different way. You may feel isolated in this process. It can be lonely to step outside what is familiar. But you are not alone. I am strengthening you as you choose differently. There will be moments when old tendencies resurface. Do not be discouraged. Patterns that existed for years do not disappear overnight. But each time you choose awareness over autopilot, you weaken their hold. My beloved child, you are rewriting narratives. You are modeling new responses. You are creating a legacy of emotional health, of faith, of resilience. If you have children, they will benefit from your courage. If you influence others, they will witness a different way of living. Even if you never see the full ripple effect, your choices matter. Freedom begins within. I am healing not only your wounds, but the roots of those wounds. I am strengthening you so that what once controlled you becomes something you manage with wisdom. Do not underestimate the significance of your growth. What you overcome internally shifts more than your own life. It changes the direction of those connected to you. You are not defined by your history. You are not confined by inherited limitations. You are capable of transformation. My beloved child, stand firm in this truth. Cycles can end. Fear does not have to pass forward. Silence does not have to continue. Scarcity does not have to define your thinking. I am breaking generational patterns through your willingness to grow. And the freedom you are stepping into will echo far beyond what you can currently see. My beloved child, there is a dream you once carried that you quietly laid down. You did not announce it. You did not make a dramatic decision to abandon it. You simply grew tired. Life became heavy. Responsibilities increased. Disappointments stacked up. And slowly, you convinced yourself it was wiser not to hope so boldly anymore. But I remember that dream. It was planted in your heart for a reason. It stirred something alive within you. It made your eyes light up when you spoke about it. It pulled you forward with anticipation. It felt aligned with who you truly are. Yet over time, fear began to speak louder than desire. You told yourself it was unrealistic. You compared yourself to others who seemed further ahead. You faced setbacks that shook your confidence. And eventually, you decided it was safer to bury the dream than to risk failing again. My beloved child, buried does not mean dead. Think of seeds once more. When they are placed underground, they appear hidden and forgotten. But under the right conditions, life begins to stir again. What looked dormant was only waiting. The dream you buried still carries life. Perhaps it was a creative pursuit, a calling to serve, a desire to build something meaningful, a vision for a healthy relationship, a passion that once gave you energy. You may have told yourself that was just a phase, but it was not just a phase. It was a glimpse of potential. I understand why you protected yourself. Disappointment hurts. When effort does not produce immediate results, it feels discouraging. When others doubt you, their skepticism can become your own. And when progress moves slowly, you question whether the dream was ever realistic. But I did not place longing in your heart carelessly. Not every dream needs to look exactly as you first imagined it. Sometimes I refine the shape of it. I mature your perspective. I strengthen your skills. I redirect the timing. But the core desire, the spark that reflects who you are, that still matters. You fear reopening that part of your heart. You worry that if you let yourself hope again, you will feel the same disappointment. But growth has changed you. You are not the same person who first carried that dream. You are wiser, more resilient, more grounded. Dreams often require seasons of development before they fully unfold. You needed experience. You needed clarity. You needed confidence restored. The waiting was not rejection. It was preparation. My beloved child, I am gently inviting you to revisit what you buried. Not with pressure, not with unrealistic urgency, but with curiosity. Ask yourself why it mattered so much. Ask yourself what part of that dream still resonates. You do not have to resurrect it in one giant leap. Start small. Take one step. Reignite the spark gradually. Allow yourself to imagine possibility again. Even if the dream evolves into something different, the essence of it, the calling behind it, still holds meaning. You were not created to live only by obligation. You were given creativity, vision, and desire for a reason. When you silence those completely, part of you grows quiet. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you not to abandon hope. My beloved child, the dream you buried may be the very place where your purpose breathes most clearly. Let it surface again, even gently. Let yourself explore what still feels alive. You may discover that what you thought was gone has simply been waiting for this moment, when you are strong enough, grounded enough, and brave enough to believe again. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you feel tired of growing, tired of learning lessons through hardship, tired of being told that challenges are shaping you. When you are in the middle of difficulty, it does not feel like strengthening. It feels like pressure, and pressure can be uncomfortable. You have faced situations that stretched you beyond what felt manageable. Conversations that required maturity you did not feel ready for. Decisions that demanded courage when you felt uncertain. Responsibilities that tested your endurance. At times, you wondered why life could not simply be easier. But strength is not formed in ease. Imagine metal placed in fire. The heat does not destroy it when the process is controlled. Instead, it refines it. It removes impurities. It makes the metal more durable. The fire does not change its essence. It enhances its resilience. In the same way, the challenges you face are not meant to consume you. They are shaping your capacity. You are becoming stronger emotionally. Situations that once would have overwhelmed you completely now feel manageable, even if they are still difficult. You have learned how to pause before reacting. You have learned how to sit with discomfort without immediately trying to escape it. That is growth. You are becoming stronger mentally. You recognize negative patterns more quickly. You question fearful thoughts instead of accepting them automatically. You are learning to choose clarity over panic. That is maturity forming. You are becoming stronger spiritually. You may not feel it every day, but your trust has deepened. You have continued seeking me even when circumstances did not change immediately. That persistence is strength. My beloved child, strength does not always feel powerful. Sometimes it feels like simply getting up again. Sometimes it looks like choosing kindness when you are frustrated. Sometimes it is saying no when you would have once said yes out of fear. Strength is often quiet. You may not see the full transformation yet. Growth can be gradual. But consider how you would handle today's challenges compared to how you handled similar ones years ago. There is difference. There is maturity. There is stability that did not exist before. I am also strengthening your boundaries. You are learning where your responsibility ends and someone else's begins. You are learning that protecting your peace is not selfish. You are learning that rest is necessary, not indulgent. There are muscles in your spirit that were weak before. Patience, discernment, confidence, forgiveness. Each challenge you navigate exercises these muscles, and though they may ache in the process, they are becoming stronger. My beloved child, I do not allow pressure without purpose. I see your limits. I know how much you can endure. I am not careless with your heart. When you feel stretched, remind yourself that expansion is happening. When you feel tested, Remind yourself that capacity is increasing. You are being prepared for responsibilities and blessings that require this level of strength. Do not confuse discomfort with failure. Sometimes discomfort is simply the sign that you are stepping into a new level of maturity. One day, you will face something that once would have shaken you completely, and you will realize you are standing steady. You will notice that panic does not rise as quickly. You will respond with wisdom instead of fear, and you will understand that this season was building that stability. My beloved child, trust the strengthening process. You are not being crushed. You are being refined. You are not being weakened. You are being equipped. Through every challenge, I am shaping you into someone who can carry more responsibility, more peace, and more purpose without breaking. And you are stronger already than you realize. My beloved child, there will come a day when you look back at this season and see it differently than you see it now. Right now, you are inside the story. You feel the confusion, the waiting, the stretching. You see only pieces. But one day, perspective will widen and clarity will gently settle over what once felt uncertain. You will understand why certain doors closed. You will understand why some prayers were delayed. You will understand why specific people could not stay. And when that understanding comes, it will not carry bitterness. It will carry gratitude. At this moment, it may feel as though you are assembling a puzzle without the image on the box. You hold pieces in your hand that do not seem to connect. Some edges look sharp. Some colors do not match what you expected. But I see the complete picture. I know where each piece fits. There are lessons being woven together that will one day form wisdom. There are experiences being layered that will create depth. You cannot yet see how it all connects, but you will. Think about moments in your past when you once felt lost or disappointed. At the time, they seemed final. They seemed devastating. But later, you saw how they redirected you towards something better. What once felt like loss became guidance. The same is true now. My beloved child, trust that confusion does not mean chaos. It often means you are in transition. And transitions rarely make sense while you are inside them. You want immediate answers. You want to know exactly how things will unfold. But if I revealed everything at once, you would lose the growth that comes from walking by faith. Some understanding must be earned through experience. There will come a moment, perhaps years from now, when you will recall this time and say, "Now I see why that happened." The delay that frustrated you will have protected you. The challenge that exhausted you will have strengthened you. The rejection that hurt you will have redirected you. When you look back, you will not see randomness. You will see design. I am teaching you to trust beyond sight, to believe beyond evidence, to remain steady even when answers are incomplete. That trust will serve you long after this season passes. You may not receive every explanation you desire. Some mysteries remain part of faith. But you will receive enough understanding to recognize my faithfulness. My beloved child, allow yourself to release the need to understand everything now. Focus on the next step in front of you. Focus on staying aligned with who you are becoming. Every experience, joyful or painful, is contributing to your growth. Every season is shaping your perspective. Every delay is aligning timing. When clarity finally arrives, it will not only explain your past, it will strengthen your confidence in the future. You will trust me more deeply because you will have seen how carefully I guided you. And even now, though you do not fully understand, you are being carried by wisdom greater than your own. One day, you will look back and see that nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the waiting, not the uncertainty. It was all part of a story unfolding with precision. Trust me, my beloved child. Understanding is coming, even if it is not here yet. My beloved child, as one season gently closes behind you, I am already positioning new doors before you. Some are visible, others are still hidden, but they are there, waiting for the right moment to open. You have spent so much time focusing on doors that shut. You replayed what could have been. You stood before closed spaces, wondering why access was denied. But I do not close doors without purpose, and I do not leave you standing in empty hallways without direction. When I close a door, it is because something beyond it no longer aligns with your growth. When I open a door, it is because you are ready to step into something new. New doors often appear quietly. They may not look dramatic or impressive at first. They may begin as small opportunities. A conversation, a Venetian, an idea, a chance to try again. Pay attention to what feels aligned, what brings peace rather than pressure. You may hesitate when you see these openings. Past disappointment can make you cautious. You may ask, what if this closes too? What if I step forward and it doesn't work? That fear is understandable. But do not let fear keep you from movement. Every door carries risk, but growth requires courage. Imagine standing before a door with light shining through its edges. You do not yet know what the room looks like inside, but you sense warmth. You sense possibility. That feeling of possibility is not random. It is an invitation. My beloved child, you are not the same person who approached previous doors. You carry more wisdom now. You carry more self-awareness. You carry stronger boundaries. You are better equipped to step forward than you were before. Some doors will require boldness. You may need to initiate a conversation. You may need to apply for something you once felt unqualified for. You may need to express yourself honestly where you once stayed silent. Courage is often the key that turns the handle. Other doors will open without force. They will feel natural, timely, confirmed by peace. Trust that I will make clear what requires effort and what requires patience. Do not rush through every opening impulsively. Discernment matters. Not every opportunity is meant for you. But when alignment, peace, and wisdom meet, step forward with confidence. You have prayed for change. You have asked for advancement. You have longed for new beginnings. Now that doors are forming, do not retreat out of habit. My beloved child, the hallway of closed doors was never your final destination. It was a transition space. It was a place of preparation. It was where your character was refined. The doors ahead lead into growth, clarity, and deeper purpose. They may stretch you. They may challenge you. But they will also expand you. Walk toward them with acceptance. Not arrogance, but assurance. Not fear, but trust. When you step through the right door, you will feel it. There will be peace beneath the nervousness. There will be confirmation beneath the uncertainty. I am not leading you into confusion. I am leading you into alignment. Trust that I am ahead of you in every room you enter. Trust that I have prepared what you cannot yet see. My beloved child, lift your eyes from what closed and look toward what is opening. The future is not locked against you. I am opening new doors, and you are ready to walk through them. My beloved child, after everything we have spoken about, your growth, your healing, your strength, your future, there is one truth that must remain at the center of it all. You are deeply loved. Not conditionally. Not occasionally. Not only when you are strong. Not only when you are faithful. not only when you make the right choices. You are loved constantly, consistently, completely. You have no human love, and human love can be beautiful. But it can also be fragile. It can shift with moods. It can weaken with misunderstanding. It can fade with time. Because of this, part of you fears that all love works the same way. But my love does not waver. There is nothing you could do that would make me love you more. There is nothing you could do that would make me love you less. My love for you is not based on your performance. It is rooted in my nature. You sometimes struggle to believe this. When you fall short, you assume I must be disappointed. When you succeed, you assume I must be pleased. But my affection for you does not rise and fall with your actions. It remains steady. Imagine the ocean. Waves move constantly. The surface changes with wind and weather. But the depth of the ocean remains vast and powerful beneath the surface. My love is like that depth, unchanging, expansive, secure. You are not loved because you earned it. You are loved because you are mine. When you feel lonely, remember this. When you feel misunderstood, remember this. When you feel rejected by others, remember this. You may not always feel my love emotionally. Emotions shift. But truth does not depend on feelings. Even when you feel distant, my love surrounds you. It has surrounded you since your first breath. It has carried you through every season. It has sustained you when you thought you would not endure. My beloved child, you sometimes search for validation in places that cannot fully satisfy you. You look for affirmation from people who are imperfect themselves. You hope someone else will confirm your worth. But your worth was established long ago. When I look at you, I do not see only your mistakes. I see your heart. I see your intentions. I see your resilience. I see the quiet ways you try to grow. Love is not blind. It sees clearly and chooses to remain. That is how I love you. You may have experienced love that left when things became complicated. Love that withdrew when you struggled. Love that was conditional on behavior. That is not how I love. Even in your confusion, I love you. Even in your doubt, I love you. Even in your weakness, I love you. Let the truth settle into the places where insecurity once lived. Let it soften the fear of abandonment. Let it quiet the need to constantly prove yourself. You do not need to strive for my affection. You already have it. My beloved child, if you could see yourself through my eyes, you would understand how precious you are. You would understand that your existence alone carries value. Rest in this. Return to this truth when everything else feels uncertain. You are deeply loved. Not for what you do, not for what you achieve, but simply because you are my beloved child, and that love will never leave you. My beloved child, after all that I have spoken into your heart about healing, strength, new seasons, and open doors, there is one simple invitation I place before you. Stay close to me. Closeness is not complicated. It is not about perfection. It is not about long speeches or flawless routines. It is about connection. It is about choosing to turn your heart toward me, again and again, in the middle of your ordinary life. You do not have to climb a mountain to find me. You do not have to reach some spiritual level before I draw near. I am already near. But intimacy grows when you become aware of that nearness. Think of a child walking beside a loving father in a crowded place. The child may not understand every direction the father chooses, but as long as the child stays close, there is safety. There is guidance. There is peace. The father does not gag the child harshly. He simply reaches out his hand. I am reaching out mine. Staying close to me means inviting me into your thoughts. When anxiety rises, whisper my name. When gratitude fills your heart, share it with me. When you are confused, speak honestly. When you are joyful, celebrate with me. You do not have to filter your emotions. I already know them. What deepens our closeness is your willingness to share them. There will be days when you feel spiritually strong and steady. And there will be days when you feel distracted, tired, or distant. Do not let imperfect days convince you that closeness is broken. Relationship is built over time, not in single moments. Make space for quiet, even brief moments. A pause in the morning, a breath before a decision, a reflection at the end of the day. In those pauses, you create room to hear my whisper more clearly. Staying close also means trusting my character when you do not understand my timing. It means believing in my goodness when circumstances are unclear. It means returning to me even after you stumble. Distance is rarely created by me. It often begins when you assume I am disappointed and you withdraw. But I do not push you away. When you step toward me, even slightly, you will find that I meet you. My beloved child, closeness is where peace settles. When you remain aware of my presence, fear loses its grip more quickly. When you remember that I walk with you, decisions feel less overwhelming. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am inviting you to be present. As your life grows busier, as new doors open, as responsibilities increase, do not let activity replace intimacy. Success without closeness feels empty. Progress without connection feels restless. Return to me often, in simple words, in quiet reflection, in honest prayer. Speak to me throughout your day as you would to someone who walks beside you, because I do. The world will pull at your attention constantly. Noise will compete for your focus. But peace is found in proximity. Stay close to me, my beloved child. Not out of fear, but out of love. Not out of obligation, but out of desire for steady guidance. When you remain near, you will find that strength flows more naturally. Clarity arrives more gently. Joy feels more secure. And no matter where life leads you, closeness with me will always be your safest place. My beloved child, pause with me right here. Before we move to what comes next, I want you to recognize this moment. This is not just another message. This is not just another passing encouragement. This is a turning point. There was a reason I told you to open this message right now. Not later. Not when you felt stronger. Not when everything made sense. Now, because something inside you needed to shift. And it has. You may not feel dramatically different. You may not see fireworks or instant transformation. But something subtle has aligned within you. Your breathing is steadier. Your thoughts are clearer. Your heart is softer. That is not small. Remember how you felt before you started listening. The way, the uncertainty, the questions. Now compare that to this moment. Even if your circumstances have not changed yet, something inside you has been strengthened. Mark this moment in your memory. There will be days ahead when doubt tries to return. Days when fear whispers again. Days when old patterns attempt to resurface. And when they do, remember this conversation. Remember the clarity you felt. Remember the peace that touched your heart. You are not the same person you were when you first pressed play. Growth rarely announces itself loudly. It unfolds quietly, layer by layer. And right now, another layer has formed within you. This moment is also a reminder of my timing. I reached you exactly when you needed it. Let that reassure you. If I can reach you now, I can reach you again. If I can guide you through this season, I can guide you through the next. You may look back at today months from now and realize this was the day you stopped shrinking. The day you chose trust over fear. The day you released regret. The day you reopened a dream. The day you believed you were deeply loved again. Transformation does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like quiet resolve. My beloved child, carry this moment with you. Write it in your heart. Let it remind you that you are guided, not forgotten, strengthened, not abandoned, prepared, not delayed. You opened this message because I called you, and you stayed because something inside you recognized truth. That matters. The path ahead will still require choices. It will still require courage. But now you move forward with deeper awareness, with renewed confidence, with clearer identity. When challenges arise, remember the truth spoken over you here. When opportunities appear, remember the strength that has been built. When silence returns, remember that I am still near. This moment is a foundation stone, a marker in your journey, a quiet declaration that you are stepping into alignment. Hold on to it, and as you step forward from here, do so knowing that I am not finished. I am still speaking, still guiding, still shaping. Remember this moment, my beloved child. It is the beginning of something steadier, something clearer, something stronger within you. My beloved child, you opened my message when I called you. You could have ignored the nudge. You could have told yourself you would listen another time. But you did not. You stayed. You leaned in. And because you did, something sacred has taken place in your heart. From the very beginning, when I said, I want you to open my message right now, it was never about urgency born from fear. It was urgency born from love. I saw where you were standing. I saw the weight pressing on you. I saw the crossroads forming quietly in your thoughts. And I reached for you. Through every word, I've reminded you that you are seen, that you are not too late, that your tears were not wasted, that doors are opening, that cycles are breaking, that dreams can live again, that you are deeply loved. Now I seal this moment with blessing. May your mind be steadied when anxiety tries to rise. May your heart remain soft even when the world feels hard. May courage meet you at every new door. May peace guard you in every silent season. May confidence grow in you like a tree planted by living water, unshaken by temporary storms. When fear whispers, may my truth speak louder. When doubt returns, may you remember this moment. When you feel alone, may you sense my nearness more clearly than ever before. I bless your future with alignment. I bless your relationships with health. I bless your work with purpose. I bless your home with peace. I bless your dreams with renewed life. And as this message has strengthened you, I now call you into something greater. This word you received is not meant to stop with you. It is seen, and seed is meant to be sown. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are placing seed into fertile soil so that other weary hearts can hear my voice too. I declare over you the living promise. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When you act now, you become a river, not a reservoir. You help light lamps in dark rooms you may never enter yourself. Do not delay the stirring I place within you. Let your giving be a prophetic yes to the work I am doing across the earth. I bless every hand that sows with faith, and I multiply what is released in obedience. Step forward now and partner with me in this harvest of souls. My beloved child, carry this blessing with you. You open my message, and I have opened my heart to you once more. Walk forward in peace. Walk forward in strength. Walk forward knowing you are guided, protected, restored, and forever loved. Amen.